Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. It's great to see many of you here again. And today we're going to talk about the technology, which you all might already have heard. I hope at least. And well, since you're here, and of course we have many great topics to cover. And and I thought that this time I will bring in some news as well. I picked up some few, 5, 6 different news from our back office just to share them with you because those are very important news to understand and to get a glimpse of how it's going despite all these difficult times we have with this, these different situations in the world these days. But anyhow, great news are that our technology continues to develop in a rapid pace. So we have, as you might know, we have many, well, to be more specific, two demonstration and certification centers. One is in Belarus and the other one is located in United Arab Emirates. So in both of these locations, the work is continuing and many new tracks, new models are being developed at the moment. And about all of this, I will tell you today. And of course, we will cover the topic about the technology itself as well, and we will see how far we will get into those 7 points. So we will seek answer why Skyway in this presentation, and I have 7 different topics that will tell us why Skyway is here to stay and why this technology is going to rock the world, so to say, and is going to be the number 1 second level transportation system. But all right, let's continue a little bit about myself. My name is Mihkel. I'm from Estonia and I've been a Skyway investor and webinar conductor for about 4 years by now, and it has been a great. And as I mentioned you before as well, we have 2 demonstration and certification centers where we have this, they are basically a big parks where we have these already placed these different track structures and the models are riding there, and the constant development and testing and screening of the technology goes on. And I'm honored to have been both of these demonstration and certification centers. So both in Belarus and in United Arab Emirates. But all right, let's see what we have to offer today. So the first news I will cover is that we have undergone the international financial audit. So the specialists conducted a financial audit of the string transport company developer, and the audit confirmed that the documents provide a fairly present the financial position of the organization for the year 2021 national standards. So that's great news, and you can see the results of the inspection also both in Russian and in English language, and those documents are possible to find in your back office. So if you do not have back office at the moment, feel free and be certain to ask from the person who invited you to this presentation, or from whom you received information about the Skyway. Ask and say that you want to open your back office. So let him basically let that person to help you with the verification process as well, because that's very important. And after that, you will receive all the information necessary, all the news, all the documents, audits, and of course the investment opportunities. But all right, let's see. What else do we have here? Yes. So ever since we started basically in Sacha, we have demonstration certification center is called Innovation Center. So whenever we start at the Innovation Center, and of course after the expo that took place in the end of last year up until March this year, so ever since then there have been so many visitors in our Innovation Center in Sharjah in United Arab Emirates. And of course, businessmen from Ghana also were recently there. So they tested the string transport in Sharjah, and then they took a look what's going on basically. And the first stop, of course, what they did there, they went to the passenger station and they were presented the certified tropical unicar. Yes, so you heard right. One model, the unicar, tropical unicar, is already certified as well in United Arab Emirates. So basically, United Arab Emirates is like a window to tropical climate countries like Vietnam, India, Indonesia, and so on, and African countries, of course, as well, such as Ghana, for example. And the tropical unicar is designed for regions with temperatures up to 55 Celsius. So that's great. So of course they also look at the dispatch room from which one person can control several rolling stocks. And then the operator mechanics showed them that the control system is easy to use and works without failures. So that's also great. And then, of course, they were shown the flagship of the project, which is the high-speed model of the string transport. And this vehicle is equipped with 6-seated whip saloon and can reach speeds up to 500 kilometers per hour intercity routes. So that's also amazing. So the speeds are very high with our technology. But all right, let's see what else do we have here. Yes, that's a great news. So Anatoli Yunitsky talked about the tender in Dubai and about new transport and construction in Sharjah. So let's take a look. I will tell you briefly about what he said and what are his thoughts about that. So basically about the progress of the construction in Sharjah, the installation of 46 intermediate supports and the construction of the first anchor support have been completed on the second line. So second line is soon to be open and soon ready to go, and that's great news. And the foundation and the lower level of the concrete walls of the second anchor supports have also been laid, and it is planned to complete the work in the autumn of this year. On the fourth line, so you heard right, we will have 4 different track structures, and I will tell you soon also about, well, I can tell you actually now, so there is no secret behind that. So the first track was the 400-meter track for certification process of tropical unicar, and so to be the setup point, so that the world would see what we are capable of and what is this technology about. And the second tracks are more longer. They are about 2.5 kilometers long, 2.4 to be exactly. And those are meant for different purposes. One of them for sure is for heavy track. Well, it is heavy track, so it has to hold very well, like sea containers, for example, which weigh very much. And the passenger models which will take basically more than 100 people on board. So that's also one of the idea. So different models will be tested there. But on the fourth line, the installation of 8 intermediate supports has been completed, as well as construction and engineering work on both anchor supports. Preparations are underway for the installation of the track structure. Anchor nodes have already been installed. The connection of the power supply has begun, and it is planned to put this line into operation by the end of the year as well. About a new model of passengers transport. A new model of passenger string transport has been developed at the production site in Belarus, and this vehicle seats 25 passengers and will be tested in Sharjah on line 4. This track will allow the model to accelerate up to 150 kilometers per hour. So basically, the models which are meant more for inner city are the speeds are up to 150 kilometers per hour. and the intermediates and between cities, basically the longer distances, as I mentioned before, are up to 500 kilometers. And to receive this speed, 150 kilometers per hour, 400-meter track, of course, is not that long. So that's why we also need this longer, almost 2.5 kilometer long track structures. But now about the tender for the construction of tracks in Dubai. So basically, the cooperation agreement with RTA, which is the Roads and Transport Authority, there was signed a cooperation agreement about 2 years ago between Skyway and between the RTA. And all this time, preparation for the tender has been continuing. At first, 30 companies from different countries applied for the project. As a result, RTA experts selected only 5 proposals, and we are among the leaders, but the competition will decide everything. So let's hope that RTA and Yunitsky and all these brilliant workers there will manage to get us as winners in this competition, and we will get the chance to ride with Skyway soon in Dubai. So that's a great hope, and that's really, really close. And now about the new high-speed transport. The new high-speed transport is currently being designed, which will surpass the existing model in terms of characteristics. In particular, Skyway members have improved the aerodynamics that will allow to reach the design speed with a less powerful engine, and the transport will also become more comfortable. In the new model, there will be WC as well, so toilet. And in addition, they have worked out the possibility of joining several vehicles to increase the capacity to 40 passengers. That's also important that we are capable to bring more people on board at the same time, so that we can serve more people. Yes. All right. So that's about this news. Now let's continue and see what else we have here. Yes, Abu Dhabi. So only great news at the moment from United Arab Emirates, as they have been coming up for past few years now. As we see, a great work goes there, and we have this. We have received these great hot contacts or warm connections with high-level authority members. That's great. But all right, let's see more into this news as well. The general designer of transport company developer Dr. Anatoli Eduardovich has held a meeting with representatives of Abu Dhabi government, and the parties discuss options for introducing the technology in the city, so in the Abu Dhabi. The Abu Dhabi government is investigating the transport systems that will not only transport locals but also take tourists to new attractions. And one of such places is branch of the Louvre, a cruise terminal and an amusement park. The Abu Dhabi experts and government authorities believe the string transport system is well suited to these tasks, and the tracks can be built without changing the architecture or relocating utilities. The transport will not harm the environment and will make travel more comfortable and safer. A further important advantage is cost efficiency. It is cheaper to introduce string transport than to build a tramway or an additional metro line. That's also very important to notice. And the specialists from Abu Dhabi and the company developer identified 3 potential string transport routes. To do so, the project engineers have visited the sites of possible tracks, studied construction specifications, and calculated approximate commercial figures. The results were presented to the Abu Dhabi government. The city officials have highly appreciated the work done, and the construction of the string tracks will now be discussed at the highest level in Abu Dhabi government. So again, hopefully this goes as expected, and again we can the members of Skyward community and and the other people all around the world can soon go and take a ride with Skyway or use that as to go to the work, because really I have been on the same, what you can see behind me, on the same model, the Unicar up high in Belarus, that was about 12 meters up high from the ground, and it was just brilliant to see all the surroundings, and it's very smooth and very cool. So it is brilliant technology, and as you can see, development and then everything goes on so quickly. Of course, when we get the green light, all this making these projects and well, construction work, this takes time, but it's worth the effort for sure. Now let's talk about the process of track number 2, construction in Sharjah. So basically the construction of container terminal and container depot on track 2 continues at the testing center in Sharjah. And let's talk about the container terminal. Yeah, the main stages of the construction have been completed. I will show you one photo as well. I have here multiple photos of this process. The construction of the, well, the main stages of construction have been completed. So specialists have some finishing left to do, but this work will only take place once the track structure has been installed. This order is necessary so as not to damage the plaster and paint due to loads during the tension of the rails. The construction on the site takes place in accordance with environmental, sanitary, and hygienic and fire protection requirements. All materials are certified in United Arab Emirates, of course. So now let's see. I will show you one more picture here. Yeah, about the container depot. There are continuing concrete works. For example, preparations are underway to install the roof and anchor unit. In the future, string rails will be attached to this structure as well. The container depot is intended for parking and repair of the freight transport. There is no server and dispatch room here. That's important to notice. And all the systems are managed from the service station on the first line. So basically we can use one service station to operate and manage multiple track structures, and that's great as well for the future, as we imagine already that we have many tens of different track structures. Then we do not need one specific one specific place for each track, but we can do all those, or maintain and manage all those track structures from one place. All right, that's about it of this. Now, India has shown some interest, high interest actually, not some interest, but high interest towards our company and towards our project. And basically, the String Technology Center in Sharjah welcomed delegations from India. So basically, this man, Mr. Gyan Singh Rathore, is a representative of Indian Ministry of Tourism, and he visited the site. And he was accompanied by the managing partner at Ecolid Building Contracting International Construction Company. And the meeting began with the project presentation, at which the guests got to know about the advantages of the string transport and discussed applications of the technology in the Indian tourism sector. In particular, they were interested in building tracks in the mountainous area of the state of Goa. And also, well, I should highlight that the project now has all the necessary resources to implement commercial orders in any region of India, regardless of the landscape and climate conditions. And that's also, we are very flexible, and that's very important to know. And the delegates were also introduced to the high-speed model of the string transport, which can accelerate up to, as I mentioned before, can you guess it? Yes, 500 kilometers per hour outside the city. And the guests particularly appreciated the vehicle's comfortable saloon and multimedia system. Yes, so that's about it. And that's India. Then we have had visitors from different African countries, from Vietnam, for example, from European countries. So even from Estonia, very high-level members, and ex-president was there during the expo at our innovation center, and got the chance to see the technology itself, and she was presented it. So these are all very amazing. But all right, let's continue. Now, I believe I have some for you. So yes, the edition of National published an article on testing of the string freight models in Sarja and construction of targeted projects. I have chosen the most important from this material to present to you today. So about Unicont. Unicont is basically the freight transportation, the sea container transportation system, and the container carrier testing in Sarja is scheduled to begin in December 2022, so this year, or January next year. And the 2.4 kilometer track will allow the vehicle to reach speeds up to, and now notice, up to 120 kilometers per hour. So recent times we knew that sea container transportation system Unicont will be able to reach speeds up to 90 kilometers per hour, but now during this process of development, we have gained another 30 kilometers per hour. So up to 120 kilometers per hour, it's possible. And the other important thing to notice is that basically sea containers can ride both above the track structure and below at the same time, so simultaneously in either two directions or one direction, but simultaneously two Unicons can drive at the same time, which is amazing, because if you think about the trains, which mostly take from, at least on the mainland, which mostly take the sea containers from one place to another, those can only, well, there is one track structure on the landscape, and one train can go at the same time. Of course, we can put many trains after the first one goes to second and so on, but simultaneously, like up and down, no way, it's not possible, and that's why Skyway is also brilliant. But now the second question is where the tracks may be built, which is very good question, which the nation also covered. And one of the possible projects is a double track freight route from the port on Tinkan Island in Nigeria to the city of Lagos. And the 20-kilometer track will cost about 280 million US dollars. And another route can connect Jebel Ali port in the United Arab Emirates with Al Maktoum International Airport. And that's about 18.5 kilometer long line, and will allow containers to be delivered in 50 minutes. So if the average speed basically for trucks or trains to take the sea containers is about 20 kilometers per hour, because the traffic and so on, then going about with 5 times higher speeds, it's just brilliant. Think about the efficiency and the cost that will be minimalized if we compare these different technologies. Yeah, so it's all amazing. Isn't it brilliant? You can leave your comments down below, and then say what you think about the technology, and are you happy what you see and what you hear. So all right, now to all the members and the Skyway community members and people who are thinking about taking part of this technology, are thinking about how can I also involve myself more into the process of this development and benefit from the success of the company. Then there is a offer which is called Faces of the Future, and it's going to end it's going to end in the end of this month, so 31st of August. Of course, there will be another promotions or possibilities to take part of the success of this company and invest. But this is really great opportunity, and I will tell you briefly about this right now. So basically, till 31st of August, you can invest at the discount of 1 to 90. So basically, for every invested $1, we will receive 90, or you will receive 90 shares of the mother company, of the technological company. So wherever in the world in the future the new tracks will be built and they will benefit the company and bring in profits, then a certain amount of those profits will be divided among all the investors, depending on how much shares they have. So therefore, it's great to own and have as many shares as we can get. And what is else great with the Faces of the Future is that we will get our a hologram with our name or with your photo at the String Transport Museum in Belarus. And the investment conditions are the same. So basically, we can divide the amount of necessary investment for this campaign, which is $5,000. We can divide it by 10 months, so $500 each month, or we can or we can pay as a lump sum of $5,000. So, but all this information is in your back office, so feel free and go there. If you do not have yet back office, then make sure that you will get your back office and get verified, and then you can make an investment as well. But all right, that's it with our news today. As you can see, already almost half hour has gone on the news. So today we will talk very briefly about the technology itself. And next time, I will tell you more about the technological aspects that which today we will not be able to talk because of the time, of course. But all right, so we will take a look at the future, and then we'll see when we get to the first point out of 7, which I told you at the beginning of the webinar, that there are 7 specific points or answers which will tell us why Skyway is here to stay and why Skyway will be the technology that is going to be used widely all around the world. But first, let's take a look back 100 years ago when a visionary and artist pictured our future in 100 years. So basically nowadays, as you can see on this slide. So what I like to describe with this slide myself, my personal thoughts are that we today, at least in developed countries, mostly in Europe, United States, and so on, we have these brilliant technologies, the ground floor technologies, the first level technologies, all the cars, tramways, trolley buses, trains. We even have these subways and metros underneath us in Rome, for example, in Paris. But the new challenges still arise because the population grows, more and more people come to move, come to live and work in the cities, in the city centers, and so on. So therefore, new challenges are constantly arising, and we just cannot tear down the old buildings to widen the roads, for example. And that's why what I see is that the best and maybe the only solution is that we go to the second level. And that's why Skyway is here. And as you can see, it's just so beautiful. Yes. All right. And of course, people have tried and have successfully as well done it before, but those are 19th century technologies. They're already worn out, so to say. They are so massive, very expensive, and there are many attributes which are not able to beat the Skyway or even be as good as Skyway. And so there are many different aspects why Skyway will rule out basically these technologies. But this specific, what you can see on this photo, is monorail, and as you saw, it's very massive as well. But now let's see the comparison between Yunitsky string transports, Skyway, and then monorail. So yes, first of all, the track length is up to 50 kilometers only, so it's limited with monorail. With Yunitsky string transport, as we know, Dr. Anatoli Yunitsky also has said that his idea is that there will be a connection between the cities, between the continents, so there will be tens of thousands of track structure which are all connected. and then so therefore track length is unlimited, and also the speeds inside the cities, as I mentioned before, up to 150 kilometers per hour, and between cities, for example, up to 500 kilometers per hour are the speeds. So only some maybe Maglev and in Japan there are bullet trains which are about 300 and more kilometers per hour can compete with Skyway at this specific at the niche, so the speed niche. Yes. And what else is great to know is that we do not have driver on board as all these other transportation technologies have today. So this will be remotely controlled from the station, and that's great as well. So it will be very intelligent and very smart system, and it connects and screens all the surroundings. If there will be any obstacle on the way, it immediately stops and so on. So it's a smart system. And one more thing, it runs 100% on electricity. So it has its own motor wheels, its own batteries, and it can even be solar panels implemented or wind turbines. So therefore it's great to know. But now, one of the most important one, of course, the costs are also, as you heard from previous slides, are similar with tramway, but even cheaper. So the costs are also much lower than all these known transportation technologies that can compete with Skyway, so to say. But traffic interval, about that now, and that's very important to know that, well, basically we can send out a new, well, if we have unicars on the track, then we can send out another unicar after each 3 seconds. That's the maximum, basically. So one goes and 3 seconds, the other one can go, but just we have to bear in mind the time that people need to get on board and off board. So therefore it's 20 to 50 seconds, the traffic interval. But because of the traffic interval is so short, therefore the flow of people can be very high. So the traffic capacity, as you can see here as well, it's almost 5 times higher than with monorail. And that's great news. All right, here is one metro, just a picture. Now, yes, so basically this specific transportation system is possible to see in Berlin. Also very massive, and as you can see, the supports there are basically after each 10 or 15 meters by the riverside. There are this green on the right side, actually on the both sides, but we can see the right side supports. So those are after each 50, maybe 20 meters. But with Skyway, for example, the same model or the same track structure, which is behind me, those supports can be after 1 to 2 kilometers. So the distance between supports. So that's also great. So the higher we take the track structure, the longer the distance between different supports can be. Of course, if there are unicons or the very heavy, very heavy models on the track structure, the support have to be in shorter distance. And this technology now is possible to see in China. It's basically it's basically like a tram by its technological aspects, but it's just upside down, hanging tram, so to say. But otherwise, it's similar. And now, this technology, this is basically a. I have the word in my mind. This is cable car, and I believe this is one of the most seen around the world, because it's made for touristic attractions. It's also quite high, and I have myself seen in many places, for example, like in Turkey, in Vietnam, also in Romania. I know it's in the United States, in Russia, for example, and many other places as well, already installed and serving people, tourists mainly. And then why I say tourist and it's made mostly for tourist attraction is that because it is the average speed is about 15 kilometers per hour. So it's quite slow. And the other aspect is that if you take a look at on the right side, the orange wheel there, so to say, or the engine. So basically that spins the cable. So the cable moves, but the car on the cable does not move. So the car stays. It's basically like sewed to the cable. It sticks on the same spot all the time, and then the cable moves. This orange engine spins the cable, and then the cable car itself moves as well. And that's the main difference between Skyway, because Skyway has its own wheels, motor wheels, and the track structure stays all the time the same, but the models, the Unicars, Unibuses, Uniwind, those models move, as you can see here as well. But all right. So yes, welcome to the new age. This is the message to you. And today we will finish our presentation. Thank you all for coming, of course. And sorry. And as I always like to show this photo as well in the end of the presentation, where Dalai Lama gave his blessings to Dr. Anatoli Eduardovich, and he said that this path you have taken, it's not going to be easy, but eventually you will be successful. So the spiritual guidance and the spiritual blessing we also have. But thank you all again for coming to today's presentation, and we'll see you again in September, when I will talk specifically only about the 7 reasons why Skyway is here to stay. So of course, a little bit about the briefing about the history as well, as I did today. But the news about the news, those I won't cover next time. Only the reasons why Skyway is here. So more about the technology. We'll talk about the track structure, what's inside the track structure, how it's holding itself up, and then what makes Skyway so economical, and so on. But 14th of September, the same time, 7 p.m. So GMT +2 is the time zone. So take a look what time it is in your country. Of course, via YouTube, it's possible to see this presentation after live as well. So thank you again for coming, and wish you a great well evening. All right, goodbye.